eyebrows. Hi y'all, it's Kitty here to show you how I transformed into Peter Pan. So first things first, I put on my wig cap. I have really thin hair, so I don't worry about pin curls. I just kind of cram it in there and it works. Next, I change my eyes from blue to brown with colored contacts. Then you want to prep your face with some moisturizer. This is CeraVe and it has sunscreen in it, so it's good for outdoor shoots. Alright, that little hand motion means I'm ready to start my face. I'm using a primer from Tarte called Base Tape. It's not my favorite. I feel like it's a little bit greasy. I prefer more of a smooth primer. Now I'll grab some concealer, also from Tarte. This was actually a free sample from Ulta, so the color's not quite perfect, but it covers up my little sun damaged spot there, which is why I now use moisturizer with sunscreen in it. This is the concealer I use most of the time, the Wet n Wild concealer. I put it under my eyes to cover up the dark circles that I often have under there. But I will also put it on my eyes and upper eyes just to give a little bit more of a base for the makeup that I will be putting on my eyes later. Okay, moving on to foundation. This is Tarte Face Tape. I'm not really fond of this either because, like the primer, I feel it gives me more of a greasy look that I don't like. It does go away with powder set over top of it, but as the day goes on and the powder wears off, my face tends to look a little bit shinier than I want it to. Alright, now the most important part, brows. I'm starting with some brow mascara to make my brows look a little bit more fuller and bushier to start with. Then I'm taking this nice little flat brush to draw the rest of them in. I'm using this cheapo makeup palette that I got from who knows where in this beautiful copper color to match his orange kind of wig. And then I just go in and draw on the shape that I want. He has these cartoonishly arched eyebrows and they're nice and thick. I feel like the most important part of doing a male cosplay is the eyebrows. Making them big and thick and bushy is really going to make a feminine face look less feminine. So really concentrate on the eyebrows, making them thick and full and bushy. After drawing on with the copper, I'm taking this brown color and adding a little bit more dimension so they don't look just straight up painted on orange eyebrows. The brown gives them a little bit more dimension. Okay, now my favorite part is with this tiny little thin flat brush, you can go in and like put on individual looking brow hairs so they look super bushy. You just dab it in the eyeshadow and then just place it on one little tiny hair at a time for the perfect bushiness. Bushy eyebrows. Now that your brows are sufficiently bushy, time to add a little bit of color to those cheeks. I'm using a warm tone blush to give him more of a sun-kissed look since he's out flying around over Neverland all the time. Adding color to your nose, chin, and forehead will help you look a little bit more lively, vibrant, and youthful, just like Peter Pan is. Now my least favorite, contouring. This thing is so freaking hard to open. Good gravy. Okay, so once you get it open, we're going to contour the nose to be Peter Pan's little button nose. So a little bit under the nose and then darkening over the bridge of the nose right down at the bottom there. Blend that out nicely. Then take your highlighter and put a little bit on the very tip of your nose to complete the illusion. Okay, onto eyes. Look at this thing. Okay, this thing is so old, but I love it for that kind of gray-brown tone that it has. And I will put that on the brow bone and outer corner of my eye as well as the inner corner. Then, using the darker shade on my contour kit and that same brush I used for my brows, I'll draw some little lines under my eyes to help make them look a tad less feminine. Pro tip: brushes make great back scratchers. Continuing with the eyes, I'm going to grab some Kohl eyeliner and line my lower waterline. This will help my eyes appear less big or doe-eyed and therefore less feminine. Then I'm adding some liner to my top lid, but then I'll smudge it out so I don't have that eyeliner line, which can make my eyes look more feminine. Okay, so look at this thing. I got this just on the internet somewhere, I don't know where, but we're gonna use that and my IPSY Tetris brush to add a little bit more color to my eyes. Gonna take a warm light brown to my lids, just kind of cover over them, and then a little bit on my nose and cheeks, just to add a little bit more color and dimension to my face. Almost done, just gonna set it with some setting powder from ColourPop. Gonna use a little sponge for it under my eye because I get a lot of crinkles under there. Then this bigger brush for the rest of my face, and did you see that? Wow, okay, let's put that back on my face. So when you use a big brush like this, you're going to want to tap it on the container first to get any excess powder off, and then use a nice patting motion on your face instead of a swiping motion so you don't lose half the product off into the air. Now this is totally optional, but I took a very sharp mystery eyeliner pencil to give myself freckles. Peter Pan doesn't actually have freckles in the movie, but I thought they would be a nice touch to make him look a little more youthful and go with his red hair. Plus they're just so dang cute. When using an eyeliner pencil for freckles, you want to make sure the tip stays nice and sharp. You may have to sharpen it a few times during the application. You do want various sizes and shapes on your freckles, but if they're too big, they're just going to look fake and weird. Add a little powder to set the freckles. I decided my eyes still looked a little too bright and feminine, so I'm adding some dark brown to the brow bones just to darken them up a little bit. So for lips, Peter Pan has like no lip color, so I'm using this nude lip. I can't find my lip applicator, so I'm just gonna put it on as is. Perfect. Okay, best part, time for the ears! Ah! So first things first, I gotta prep my ears with an alcohol pad just to clean off any dirt, grime, grossness that might be there. To attach them, I'm using Pros-Aide adhesive. Be sure to shake it up vigorously while you try not to touch your newly make-up face. I'm going to use a Q-tip to apply it because it will ruin any brush that you use. Ah, this thing is almost as hard to open as a freaking contour kit. So I'll start by applying a thin layer to each of the ears. Then they need to set so they can get tacky. So while I wait for that, I'm going to put my costume on without messing up my makeup. Beautiful. Alright, to put them on, the inside of the ear is vaguely human ear shaped, so it should fit on pretty snugly. Either way, that Pros-Aide will just hold it on expertly. Just hold it down for 10 to 20 seconds on each side, and then now I look like a Vulcan. Next is the wig. This is from Arda Wigs in the shade Pumpkin. It was a little tricky to put on due to the ears. I usually put my ears inside the wig, but I wanted them to poke out. So now I'm just going to arrange some hairs in the front so that it looks a little bit more pixie-ish and also covers up the seam of the fairy ear and my ear. Because I opted to not put any makeup on it to make it match, I'm just going to cover it up with hair. Alright, it's looking good. It's covering up the seams pretty nicely, but there's one more step to take to make sure they stay covered. I'm going to use wig tape, which is essentially double-sided tape, to keep these little strands in front of my ear all day. So you peel one side off, and then put the sticky side to your face. And then struggle immensely to pull the other backing off. It's a little tricky, but you'll eventually get it. And then you can just stick that piece of hair onto it, reform as needed, do it to the other side, and then bada bing, bada boom. Those little strands will stay in front of your ears all day. And, I meant to do this before the wig, but use a little bit of setting spray to make sure all the makeup, the freckles, and everything stay in place all day. All right, let me add my little hat with my feather, and look at me. I am Peter Pan. Aren't I just so cute? Time for a photo shoot. So I took Peter to an event with the Chicago Cosplay and Photographer meetup group back in July, and I got so many amazing pictures. I'm so excited. You can see more of them on my website at itskittycreations.com/PeterPan. Go and check them out. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and if you liked this, then go ahead and like this video. And be sure to comment below if you'd like to see me make more makeup videos like this, and of course subscribe to my new channel for more cosplay goodness. Bye!